find the gunshot means found. Resident, so where you at?
I'm unleashed rap king of the streets.
Greetings, YouTube. I like to unleash back at you from right here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel here in Grow Zone 8B right here in Tifton, Georgia. In this morning's video, we're super excited to be bringing you guys along with us as we chronicle the growth of our Celeste fig tree that we did indeed name Mrs. Lori after our dear friend Mrs. Lori down at the Wadings Landing. Today is indeed day 110 of our Celeste fig tree growing both in our greenhouse during the last part of the winter and out here at our front yard garden extended grow area since we planted it out there. And a lot has changed with that fig tree out there, YouTube. A lot has changed with that fig tree out there. As you may recall in our last video update on Mrs. Lori, our Celeste fig tree, we told you guys that we did indeed have 8 new fig tree branches that had sprouted from around her base. We told you guys that we did indeed have plans to remove 4 of those sprouted branches and which would leave us with 1 main trunk and 4 side branches. We did that. But one thing that we didn't show you guys, because it has indeed been 3.5 weeks since we brought you guys our last video update on Mrs. Lori, is that we did indeed pinch our fig tree. Now, a lot of people who grow figs are going to disagree with the fact that we did indeed pinch our fig tree the very first year. They're going to disagree with the fact that we did indeed also pinch the remaining 4 side branches that we have growing around the base of Mrs. Lori. They're going to agree with the fact that we pinched it at all the first year, and they were going to say that we should have just let it grow and done whatever it was going to do. But here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel, we have a very, very, very long grow season here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel. Our grow season here really actually starts in about March. You can really start planting virtually anything that you're going to plant around March, and you grow from around March all the way up to about late October. I mean, it really only starts to get cold here around the last week of October. So we have indeed a really long grow season here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel. That's another reason why we went ahead and pinched our fig tree, Mrs. Lori. But not only that, YouTube, we pinched Mrs. Lori because we knew we had a long grow season here, and we knew that we wanted Mrs. Lori to actually produce figs, have the opportunity to produce figs here for us in our front yard garden extended grow area. And YouTube, that's exactly what has happened. For anyone who's currently growing figs, then you unsure as to whether or not you should pinch your fig tree, is totally up to you. But pinching fig trees works. It works, YouTube. It works. And we're going to take you guys out there to the Wadings Landing right now and show you exactly what has happened in approximately the last 21 days since we not only removed the 4 side branches from the base of Mrs. Lori that we told you guys we would indeed remove, but also pinch those 4 side branches and the top of our main trunk on Mrs. Lori. All right, YouTube, indeed, here we are on our way out to our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori, to show you guys exactly what is indeed going on with Mrs. Lori at this point in the grow season. But before we show you guys what's going on with Mrs. Lori, we'd like to take this opportunity to give any of our new subscribers to our channel the opportunity to see exactly what Mrs. Lori looked like when we first planted her in our greenhouse. And she's a beauty. Take a look at that, YouTube. Is she a beauty or what? Yeah, we actually took this cutting from a fig tree in one of my neighbor's yards down the road. It showed absolutely no signs of life. Next, we're going to show you guys what Mrs. Lori looked like when we first planted her here. And now, YouTube, now indeed, we're going to give you guys a quick look at exactly what our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori, looks like on day 110. Bam. Can you guys see that, YouTube? Indeed, our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori, currently stands at a height just slightly shorter than 6 feet tall. Isn't she lovely, YouTube? I'm gonna walk you guys around her and show you guys that indeed we did remove 4 of the 8 side branches that were growing around the base of Mrs. Lori. We did indeed, as you can see down in here, pinch the tops out of all 4 of those side branches. You guys see that, YouTube? We pinched that top out down in there. On this one too. And we did indeed pinch the very top out of our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori. You guys see that right there? YouTube, that was approximately 3 weeks ago, YouTube. 3 weeks ago, we pinched the top out of our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori. We pinched the top out of our 4 remaining side branches. We removed the other 4 side branches from down here at the bottom. And YouTube, in just the past 3 weeks, YouTube, in just the past 3 weeks, our Celeste fig tree has put on nearly 20 figs, YouTube. That's right, YouTube. Nearly 20 figs have begun to form on our Celeste fig tree in just the past 3 weeks since we pinched our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori, and removed 4 of the 8 side branches from the bottom that were indeed sucking a lot of the life out of our main trunk here and slowing down growth and fruit production and everything else, YouTube. I'm gonna take you guys in for a close-up on some of our side branches first and show you that indeed, after we pinched those side branches indeed began to use that energy from up here in the top that they were using in the form of new growth, and they did indeed begin to put that energy into producing fruit on our trees. Take a look at this, YouTube. Take you guys in close here. You guys see that little bump right there? I can get this leaf out of my way. That little bump right there in front of my thumb, my finger here, YouTube. This camera's having a hard time focusing on it. I'm trying to get you guys in a little bit closer, maybe it'll focus. Really not wanting to focus, YouTube, but that is indeed a small fig right there. It has formed on our fig tree at the point where we pinched it off at approximately 3 weeks ago, YouTube. Down a little bit further, I'm gonna take you down further down this same branch, and as you can see on this side where my finger is, next to that growth node right there, that is indeed a new fig that has formed on this same branch. Take you guys over here, YouTube, and as you can see, right next to that growth node, that is a new fig that has indeed formed on our side branch here that we pinched approximately 3 weeks ago. I'll take you guys a little bit further down that same branch. As you can see right here, we have those double bumps right there. One of those double bumps, the one on this side over here, is indeed a growth node, and the one on this side over here is indeed a new figlet beginning to form on our fig tree. Same scenario here on this same branch, a little bit further around. We have these 2 growth nodes here by my finger, and I'm sorry that this camera is really not focusing in the way it should be for some reason this morning. But we have a total of about 8 new figs that have begun to form on this first side branch that we pinched, YouTube. 8 new figs on this one branch alone. Next branch over that we pinched, YouTube, I'm going to show you that same scenario. Going to be a little hard to see, but up here next to my finger up here, we do indeed have 2 bumps. One of those bumps, the one on this side over here, is indeed a growth node, and the one on this side over here next to my finger is indeed a new fig forming on this branch. And this is again one of our side branches. Same scenario here, YouTube. Same scenario there. Same scenario there. And same scenario there. So on this branch we have about 6 to 7 new figs on this branch. This side branch also, YouTube. This side branch back here at the back, same scenario. This is the side of the tree that's actually, the sun rises from that direction over there, and it sits back there behind our house. So these 2 side branches here are exposed to the sun a lot later in the day than these 2 front side branches. So their growth is a little bit slower than these 2 side branches on the front up here. But nonetheless, YouTube, Same scenario. If you look right there, you have that classic double bump. That is a new fig forming beside that growth node right there. Same thing right here, where my finger is. We have a new fig forming there, one forming there, YouTube, and another forming down there. You can see that next to my thumb. We have those classic 2 bumps. I'm taking you guys around to our 4th side branch, and as you can see, YouTube, you have that fat growth node right there next to my thumb. But if you look close to it, here on this side, it's just beginning to form, YouTube. There's a tiny, tiny bump right there, and that is indeed a new fig beginning to form. Same scenario here, YouTube. You guys can see we have those classic 2 bumps right there. That's a new fig. Same scenario there and there. We don't have one at the bottom, so we have about 5 new figs beginning to form on this side branch. And that's quite a few figs so far, YouTube. I'll take you guys over to our main trunk here on Mrs. Lori and show you guys what's going on with it. We do indeed have a new fig forming right there, YouTube. We have one 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 forming right there. We have one forming right there. We have one forming right there. Have a nice size one there that's beginning to grow, YouTube. We have one there. We have one there. We have one there, YouTube. We have one there. One there. One down in there. One there. We have one there, YouTube. And we even have one right up here in the very, very top that I'm not going to be able to get these leaves out of the way of probably. Here it is. Okay. We have one forming right down there that you guys probably can't see. So that is indeed at least, YouTube, at least 20 new figs that have formed on our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori, in just the past 21 days since we removed those 4 of the 8 side branches that we had growing from the bottom, and since we pinched the top out of all 4 remaining side branches and our main trunk, Mrs. Lori is simply loaded, YouTube, loaded with figs after just 110 days of growth in both our greenhouse as a cutting and out here in our front yard garden extended grow area as a propagated cutting, YouTube. From cutting to fruit in just 110 days. Our Celeste fig tree, Mrs. Lori, at the Wadings Landing. Right here in our front yard garden extended grow area, here at the Green Thumbs Gardening Channel, Grow Zone 8B, right here in Tifton, Georgia. Thanks for watching, YouTube. And if indeed you currently are watching this video and you're not already subscribed to the Green Thumbs Gardening Channel, please indeed take this moment to press that subscribe button beneath this video, that like button, that notification button, and be sure to share this video with your friends and family as well. Yeah. Growing Celeste figs from cutting to fruit. Thanks for watching, YouTube.
Wind the gunshot means forward. Resident, so where you at?
County do, city do, stay. I'm unleashed, rap king of the streets, ripping up another beat, and I still don't play. I flow smooth in my lyrics on time. All my haters in the crowd, it's loud, but I leave them all quiet when I say what's on my mind. I ain't fell off, I won't stop. There is a diss on the corner of the top until my very last breath. I'm gonna give it all I got. Red eye, thinking late night flight. Won't stop and tell us that I'm touching down in Cali, destination in the valley, and I'm feeling alright. I'm elevated, I'm a product of the sun. On top status, I'm a flowing apparatus. Got my haters talking chatter, but I still get it done. Everywhere I go, I still see pros. On the beat, see I'm walking down the street, high heels on their feet, almost wearing no clothes. I'm making money selling records overseas. All in Ghana, I'll be smoking marijuana. You can find me down under, even in the Philippines. Like Ali, I'm a lion, I'm the greatest. I'm top notch. I can see outside the box, I'm making haters stop and watch because they know that I done made it. Yeah.
Input means rewind, the gunshot means forward. We requested it, so we rewind.
Looking for me, you can find me in my life. I stand tall, but I keep my circle small. Don't let them lawyers get involved whenever I profit off my name. I'm full grown, I'm a lion in my prime. Check my design, I mean the way I spit around. I'm about to make that hater feel me like I did the last time. Deep breath and I'ma drop another verse. No competition for this lion on a mission. If you want it, come and get it. I'ma hit you in first. You need a minute, let my words marinate. It's been a minute, I didn't mean to make you wait. I'm about to rip it straight to shreds and I ain't gonna hesitate.